that we do. And I just think like you're given one life and it's down to you what you do with it. Like you can literally go in any direction. And when I've spoken about that before in the past, I have been slammed a little bit with people saying, like it's easy for you to say that, you've grown up and you've not grown up in poverty, you've not grown up, with major money struggles. So for you to sit there and say that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, it's not correct. And I'm like, but technically what I'm saying is correct. We do. So I understand that obviously we all have different backgrounds and we're all raised in different ways and we do have different financial situations. But I think if you want something enough, you can achieve it. And it just depends to what lengths you want to go to get where you want to be in the future. And I'll go to any length. Like, I've worked my absolute arse off to get where I am now.
So Molly-Mae jumped on the Diary of a CEO podcast 3 weeks ago and came out with something that maybe she should have thought about just a little bit more. All I saw yesterday on my For You page on TikTok was everyone slagging off Molly-Mae. Literally mentioning the fact that we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And indirect quotations, we all have the same 24 hours as Beyonce. Now, every single time I swipe, every other TikTok post would be about this topic. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Like, what have I missed here? So when I started doing some research, I realised and I was like, I understand why so much backlash has gone around about this. It isn't about what we do in our 24 hours. It's about our circumstances and opportunities in life. And Molly-Mae's admitted she's never faced poverty. And that's why she doesn't understand how difficult it really is becoming someone when suffering in poverty. And although it is respectful that she had taken into account that, she said that I understand people are in poverty, this, that, and the other, but she very easily pushed it to a side and narrowed down on her idea. If we're gonna really look down on Molly-Mae's life, she became famous from a reality show called Love Island, a show that is designed for good-looking people to give them a step up in the famous world for absolutely no reason at all. If you guys do not believe in pretty privilege, this show is the definition of pretty privilege. But one thing I always did give her credit for was the fact that she grinded when she left that show. She was one of the islanders that actually stayed relevant as the new seasons went on. She kept being out there and people still remembered her rather than going missing off the face of the planet like a lot of islanders did. However, before Love Island, where was she? Was she chasing this dream? Was she trying to become an influencer? And if so, why did it only take Love Island to get her there? Why did she not get there organically, all by herself, from her home? Could she really have still gotten where she is now if it wasn't for Love Island? In a survey from 2019 to 2020, it was found that 11.7 million people are living in the UK with relative low incomes. Now, this is according to the Commons Library Parliament.uk. And Molly-Mae basically said that these people aren't working hard enough. Like, if she saw a poor person on the street that was begging for money, she'd think that they weren't working hard enough. She would say to them, you're not working hard enough. Look at me, I'm working hard enough. We both have the same 24 hours in a day. No, we do not. I am afraid that you, Molly-Mae, do not have the same 24 hours as a person begging for money on the street. Her whole career after Love Island was around this fast fashion clothing brand, Pretty Little Things, which is owned by Boohoo Group PLC. And it actually came out in July 2020 that this brand was accused of modern day slavery. It was found that these people were earning £3.50 an hour in a factory in Leicester, which is way below minimum wage, and it's no doubt that these people weren't working long hours. And for what? Literal pennies. These people are working almost their whole lives just to get enough food for them and their families, to live with a roof over their head and to get some electricity and hot water for the night. It's very easy for a woman with no kids to talk about just how easy life can be and to get to where she wants to be and to grind for where she wants to be. It's very easy when you don't have the responsibility of other people's lives behind you, where you're just your own person and you can do what you want to do. You have the opportunities for that. And when there's people out there that are spending 12 hours of the day working for minimum wage, just so they can have that living, just so they can have that roof over their head and pay food for their children, and yet still getting barely enough money to pay their own electricity bill. And Molly-Mae's expecting them to work harder, and if they work harder, they'll get more. Molly-Mae makes millions a year on the back of suffering people working in boohoo factories for their living. So I'll be honest, I think it's very ignorant of her to not understand how much privilege she actually has, how much telling people that they aren't working hard enough is so demeaning. To say that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, to deny the fact that not everyone gets to spend those 24 hours working for their dreams, that they have to actually spend those 24 hours looking after their families, working to survive. All in all, it's a capitalist lie sold to workers to make them think that if they keep working hard enough, they will get to the same place as the people above them. And I'll be honest, I genuinely liked Molly-Mae. I really liked her a lot. I respected the fact that she came off Love Island and she still made something about herself. There's so many islanders off Love Island that kind of just disappeared. Like, they got their following from Love Island and that were it. But she did have that businessman and she kept grinding, and respect to her for that. I genuinely respected her. But the ignorance is what I don't appreciate. There is no doubt about it that Molly-Mae doesn't think that she really worked that hard, and yet that ignorance of still believing that she worked so much harder than everyone else, completely forgetting about the stepping stool she had from Love Island, is the arrogance. However, I don't think her intentions were to actually demean the viewers watching this podcast. I guess she wants to come off as inspirational, that the words she says will cause other people to think, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that as well and I'm gonna look just like you. She wants to basically tell people that if they keep working at it, they will get it. And yeah, I guess that's a nice thing to say, to teach people that, look, keep up the faith and you could get somewhere. But I think her wording just wasn't right in that situation. In potential cases, putting in the work could be true. It is true for some people, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's all luck. Not everybody is in the same situation. If I put in the same work as somebody else, one of us would end up succeeding a lot quicker. And that's not because one of us is putting in more work. We're putting in the exact same amount of work, but it's all down to luck. Who's going to get noticed more? Who's going to get seen more? If you have the resources, the money to buy a camera, the laptop to buy a camera, maybe you can start posting YouTube videos and do it all from home. Or to know the right people that could get you somewhere. Maybe you could get somewhere. But how often will somebody blow up on YouTube? How often do people have the time for payless hobbies when they're still trying to work hard enough to pay for their kids? Do they really have the time to grind on something that they won't get paid for and hope that maybe they have the luck to succeed with it? It takes years for that, especially with YouTube. All YouTubers will say it takes years before you actually get anywhere on YouTube. And do people that work 12-hour shifts in a factory have that time to do that? How often do people genuinely know the right people? It is all luck. In conclusion, I understood where she was trying to come from. I understood that she was trying to be inspirational, that she wanted to kind of make people think that they could get somewhere too, like how manifest where they're gonna get to. But you have to be careful nowadays. You have to understand that yes, you might have got somewhere by grinding, but it's not the same for everybody. Individual differences. Everyone is so different. Their lives are so different. You putting in the exact same work as somebody else doesn't mean that you will both get to the same place at the same time. You both won't cross that finish line at the exact same time. Just like two runners. You both start at the same time. You both have the same amount of laps to take. But why does one always get to the finish line first? But yeah, bye.